Hello, everypony. Your Overmare here with your promised pre-Christmas update video. I know, right? To think I'd actually put out a video when I promised. Must be one of the signs of the apocalypse. Last vid I asked you guys to send me your questions for this update, and I'm gonna try to get to all of them. Granted, we had a lot of repeaters, so I condensed them down. I won't be naming anyone in particular, but with any luck, your inquiry shall be satisfied. Again, I do apologize that this update isn't animated, but as you can see by my sleek and sexy new look, this isn't something I want to half-ass. But at least I took the time to give you this pretty still, including this beautiful Luna pic for the background. Now if I could just remember where I found it, then we'd be good. Alright. In any case, it's time we got this party started. Let the questions commence! As some of you know, last year I posted a short vid about how my hard drive died, and effectively ground HE's production to a halt. And yes, I did get it replaced with a newer, bigger one. But not long after that, my graphics card decided to go kaput as well. Right in the middle of moving, no less. So I had to get a new one of those, too. And after that, I worked. What? You were expecting some other big dramatic problem? Nope. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Transdimensional overfiend I may be, but I still work a 9 to 5, same as the rest of you. Hell, I'm a barista. I work nights. Add to that I'm generally a very lazy person, then yeah. Those two things going down presented me with the perfect neglect scenario. And to be honest, I'm not going to be the best about updating from here on out. What made me come back this time was you guys, to be honest. I know people don't like to be guilt-tripped about it, but the more you guys remind me to post, the more I'm gonna do it. So, yeah, keep it up. Keep pestering me and saying, when's the next video? Because that will keep the production fires lit. Yep. As you can see, I have modified my OC here. Some of you have already surmised correctly. I am indeed a Kirin now. As to those others of you who guessed I was a Longma, that is a Chinese dragon horse, or a Draconequus, sorry. Nice try though. No, I'm going with the stylized single-prong Kirin, which means I have one antler that's a lot more like a unicorn's horn, as opposed to the traditional two-prong that's more deer-like. And I've also vied for some of their reptilian features as well, hence the scales. There are many different depictions of Kirin, so I found out the version I like best. And as a Kirin, I also breathe flames and sky stride, which is essentially walking on air. Oh, and that little note about Kirin being goodly creatures? Generally, yes, Kirin are good, and will punish the wicked. But as is the case with most cultures, there is no solidly defined good or evil. Kirin like to be mischievous, same as any mythological creature. However, calling it my true form is not accurate. I elected for the Kirin as a fusion of my two largest fandoms, MLP and anime. I am an enormous otaku, and I am absolutely fascinated with Japanese culture and mythology. I also like to dabble into research in other Eastern mythos as well. China, Korea, Tibet. So the Kirin was a wonderful balance between those for me. But I am not limited to this form. Or any one form for that matter. I'm not a changeling, but it would be better to say that I adapt my form as required by the worlds I visit. Now, I'll be maintaining my Kirin form as my personal OC here. And yes, I'll be updating all my images to coincide. But don't be surprised if I change it up every now and then. Oh boy, did I get a lot of these. Okay, I'll try to keep my answers brief to help speed through these, and also to avoid spoilers. Here we go. Changelings. Research has been difficult, but I've got a plan for them. However, they will no longer be the next featured segment. You guys are really excited about this one, so I want to do a good job for you and make an exciting script for you. So I'll be taking my time. Tyrek and Scorpon. Eventually, I'll get to them, but still gotta watch the old episodes first. Back Start Ponies. No plans in the works yet, but I suppose I'll get around to them. Kirin. I'd love to. Personally, I'm very interested in building this set, but again, it's going to take me a while, because I have an entire history and culture to build for it. A lot of research there. Aftermath of Nightmare Moon. Wow. Actually, that's a pretty brilliant idea. And it keeps from deliberately tackling the subject of the uprising itself, doesn't it? Thanks, random fan! You have just given me an idea! Dragons! Sure. In fact, I planned on getting to them eventually. But, like changelings, their stories are less cultural and historical, and more individual. So expect more one-shot features on famous dragons in history than the race as a whole. Nightmare Night and Other Legends. These will be much like the Running of the Leaves episode, one-shots designed to expand upon the holidays or stories' origins more than anything else. Ideally, a month. That is, assuming I have the script already in place. The scripting process is the longest part of any episode, because a lot of this is coming from my own brain. I have to work out an entire rough timeline, then script out each episode in a lecture. This can take me a long time. But once I have the script, I can list out the artwork I want to do, record my lines, and start audio mixing. After that, music hunting is the next longest thing, because I like to feature instrumental stuff and try not to repeat the same stuff too much. But also because I like to have the music cue in at the right times in the lecture for the right effect, so it involves a lot of listening. So, yeah, roughly a month. Outside scripting. With difficulty? I don't know. I've always loved building fantasy lore, and this show lets me play around with that. So long as I try to keep my stuff flexible within the parameters set by the show, I can generally craft the story in my head. After that, it's a matter of putting things in perspective and fleshing out the story. As for my drawings, which I still think they're crap, but thank you for the compliment, I tried to keep them following the designs from the first episode, the ones they used when telling of the history of Nightmare Moon. It felt appropriate. Except for the Pony with Scarves guys. Their stuff was adorable and awesome. I won't say this stuff is easy, but for me at least, it correlates with my interests and to some degree my talents, so it makes putting it together at least a little easier, and certainly more fun for me. What was the subscription goal for that one? 3,000? Well, if we hit it, I'll sing it. And as of now, we are just shy of the 2,000 mark, so... Wait, seriously? Almost 2,000 subscribers? Huh. Hot damn. Believe it or not, I actually really do need to bust tail on that. I have most of the lines in, with the exception of the bad guys, and I will always need bad guys on that show. So, yeah, much like AG, keep on me about that one. It helps. Ooh, tough question. I really liked the last one, with the Fable and the additional artists. Stuff like that makes the episode a lot more exciting. But I also have a weak spot for the Nightmare Moon episode. Even though it was just the barest hint of my headcanon for the story, it was still so exciting to delve into the sisters' tragedy. Eventually. But that's way in the future. I got plans. Not as far as I know they're not. As I understand it, they can eat fish, and maybe even stomach a little meat, but not very well. It's like gluten intolerance. Yeah, you can eat wheat, but it'll wreak havoc on your digestive later. Not really worth it, honestly. So, if you think about it, the growth of fangs is like a representation of Luna's corruption and perversion by hatred and dark powers. Part of. I am the Illuminati. Evil laughter is therapeutic. The comics are a mixed bag for me. Some of the stories are adorable and fun, and they sometimes delve into interesting ideas, while others are just eh. As it is, though, I'll never be accepting them into HE's canon, because the show doesn't accept them as canon. But if they ever have a really interesting concept, I might incorporate it. Sure, I'll take all the help I can get in the art department. Feel free to PM me here on YouTube and we'll chat. And I have a little more in regards to that later on in the video. Sorry. Okay, now we're getting to the important stuff. So, after we finish up the Zebrica series, which I still don't know how many more episodes that will be, we're going to do either a one-shot or a smaller series featuring a specific event, time, place, or individual. You guys have already given me some good ideas about that, but it's more to cover the time it'll take me to build the Changeling scripts. From here on out, I will not begin producing an episode or miniseries until I have a complete script. That was actually one of my problems with the Zebrica episodes, and it still is. I got hit with writer's block, and I could not think of how I wanted to finish that episode. It took me 9 months to come up with Zaka's Fable. Comprehend that. Now, what this means is that Historical Equestria will not be enjoying a monthly release schedule like it did before. It will take me longer to produce. But on the bright side, by taking extra time, I should be able to get you guys better overall quality of content when I do release an episode. In this regard, I am always happy to accept assistance in the art department. As you saw last episode, we featured art from the group Ponies with Scarves, and their stuff was brilliant. I am immensely grateful to them for reaching out to me and offering assistance like that, and I seriously hope I can repay them in the future. But yes, anyone who wants to contribute artwork, fine by me. Give me a PM and we'll chat. And speaking of artwork, I'm currently on the hunt for a piece of Sky Shadow. And I am seriously considering commissioning it, because I want to make sure this is a really nice piece that I can use here on the show. As some of you may recall, I was talking about doing fic readings here in HE between segments. Well, I'm going to go ahead with that idea, except we're not going to do just fics. In fact, fics are going to be more of an occasional thing. What we are going to be reading will be books. Specifically, fantasy books. But I'm happy to expand upon that later. Fantasy, however, is my great love. Long before I ever got into anime, MLP, or anything else, and it really, really irks me that there are no good readings of my favorite books. Just bland audio recordings. No sound effects, no atmosphere, no effort. Well, we're gonna change that. To begin, I'm gonna present you with 2 books to choose from. Vote for whichever you prefer, and the winning book will be our first read-through. I will open a casting call for the voices, and Sky Shadow will narrate. We'll have sound effects, atmosphere, and these files will be completely free for people to listen and enjoy, with full credit given to the author and their publishers. We will bring these stories to life. That's what the pick of Sky is for. It'll be the feature piece for these readings, and as it'll be a purely audio-driven segment, I want to make sure it's really nice. So feel free to offer suggestions on artists in this case. All I'm looking for is a picture of Sky, reading on a cushion beside a fireplace, all warm and cozy, maybe with a cup of tea or hot cocoa beside her. I'll be happy to feature art inspired by the stories as well, but again, this is a purely audio-driven production, so art will be just a rare treat on these episodes. Your choice for our first book reading are these: The Crystal Shard by R.A. Salvatore, or The Last Unicorn by Peter S. Beagle. Both of these books are very near and dear to my heart, which is why I want to share them with you. So, take your pick. We'll read whichever one you guys select. Bear in mind that The Last Unicorn is a singular story, whereas The Crystal Shard is the first in a trilogy. We'll get to them all eventually, but just keep that in mind when voting, as it'll determine what we do next. Alright, that's all for now, guys. Take care and keep poking at me for the next episode. We'll all be busy during the holidays, so don't expect anything right away. But like I said, keep at me to get it done, and I'll have it out for you sooner. Have a Merry Christmas, or a Happy Hanukkah, or whatever holiday it is you celebrate this time of year. And if you don't have one to celebrate, then I wish you all the goodwill and cheer that comes with it regardless. Till next time, every pony.